After studying this module, you will be able to know what gratitude is, its functions and benefits. Learn the difference between gratitude and ingratitude and how to measure gratitude. Identify variables that affect gratitude, differences in its cultural expressions, ways to cultivate gratitude, and the characteristics of grateful people. Evaluate gratitude in pleasant and unpleasant circumstances and whether gratitude lead to more happiness. Analyze the building research on gratitude. The word gratitude is derived from the Latin term gratia, which means grace, gratefulness, and graciousness. It is a concept that is close to kindness. However, gratitude, like a few other positive psychology constructs like courage, has not received much attention. One reason that could be attributed to the lack of empirical research in this area could be the fact that this concept is difficult to empirically measure and put to test. Therefore, relationship of gratitude with health and well-being variables stand speculative and are under scrutiny. The systematic study of gratitude had its auspicious beginning in 2000 under the purview of positive psychology. Research on gratitude is focused on expression of gratitude, individual differences in gratitude, cross-cultural expression of gratitude, and relationship of gratitude with various other psychological constructs such as joy, contentment, relationship, and health. A grateful person recognizes the receipt of someone else's generosity. Perhaps the core element of gratitude is that it is a response to perceived intentional benevolence. In contrast, a gift that is resented or perceived as an obligation or whose reception incurs an obligation precludes even the possibility of gratefulness. To be genuinely grateful is to feel indebted in a way that defies repayment. Give this reality the very attempt to repay is authentic grateful expression. Roberts in 1991 soberly pointed out that no amount or form of repayment can compensate for sacrificial gifts. When so, gifts obligate and recipient to recognize the gift and express appropriate gratitude. The variables that affect the intensity of gratitude are the degree of judged praiseworthiness, the deviation of the agent's action from role-based expectations, and the desirability of the event. The main contribution of this model is that it specifies conditions under which gratitude is and is not likely to occur and calls attention to nuances that might remain undetected in other emotion-based frameworks. For example, felt gratitude may reflect the potential desirability of an event independent of the event's outcome, such as when someone aids in successful search for a lost child. Lazarus and Lazarus described many phases of gratitude and suggested that within an interpersonal transaction, the personal meanings people attach to giving and receiving influence their experience of gratitude. Smith 1991 identified the appraisal components of gratitude as: number 1, a motivationally relevant outcome, that is, number 2, motivationally congruent or desirable for the person, and number 3, credited to the efforts of another. Following Wood, Maltby, Stewart, and Joseph, dispositional gratitude has 4 elements: gratitude intensity, gratitude frequency, gratitude span, and gratitude density. A person who is high on gratitude will experience greater gratitude, and also more often he will experience the gratitude. McCullough and colleagues have put forth 3 functions of gratitude. First, as a moral barometer, wherein gratitude signals a change in one's social relationships for both the people and instills both these people with positive feelings. Second, as a moral motive, due to this act of kindness, the beneficiary is also reminded of other acts of gratitude that may have happened in past and may take a chance to reciprocate these benefactors for their kindness. Third, as a moral reinforcer, wherein the beneficiary is instilled with an obligation to continue the tradition of helping others and thus reciprocate grateful acts to other people, which starts a chain of positive acts towards mankind. Gratitude is an emotional expression of thankfulness. It also has a very strong spiritual component, wherein gratitude is seen as the attitude that people recognize that they are connected to each other in a mysterious and miraculous way that is not fully determined by physical forces but is a part of wider or transcendent context. Gratitude follows an individual to appreciate everyday mundane activities with a sense of wonder and appreciation for life. Life becomes worth living if it has moments of gratitude. It has great impacts on an individual's psychological and emotional well-being as it provides continuous intrinsic rewards. Gratitude has been linked with positive states such as happiness, pride, and hope, experiences of extreme happiness, and experiences of a meaningful and productive life. It has empathy at its foundation in an interpersonal emotion that exists in an interpersonal context. Gratitude imbibes feelings of love and care. In this interpersonal context, it is highly imperative to acknowledge the cost of the gifts. The recipient must identify with the psychological state of the one who has provided it. The benefactor's giving is interpreted by the recipient as freely offered, and with that comes the acknowledgement that such offering might prove costly to or incur hardship for the benefactor. Such an understanding blends fittingly with some object relations formulations of gratitude, where it is seen as major derivative of the capacity for love. Gratitude is related to a host of positive outcomes, including subjective well-being, relational support, and pro-social behavior. Counting blessings daily for 2 weeks has been associated with greater school satisfaction at immediate post-test and a 3-week follow-up. Beyond improving social and emotional functioning, Gratitude also may promote academic gains via achievement motivation. The appreciation scale by Adler, Fagle measures 8 different aspects of gratitude: appreciation of people, possessions, the present moment, rituals, feelings of awe, social comparisons, existential concerns, and behavior which expresses gratitude. The gratitude, resentment, and appreciate test, known as GRAT or GRAT, is another test which is a trait self report measure of gratitude that assesses gratitude towards other people, gratitude towards the world in general, and a lack of resentment for what you do not have. It is important to understand that whether the virtue of gratitude can be cultivated. Does developing gratitude provide a depressed individual with a hope to live for, or can it be used to alleviate distress and provide avenues for better positive living? There have been researches that have put forth the steps through which an individual can develop the value of gratitude. Miller in 1995 offered a 4-step guide. First is to identify non-grateful thoughts. Then formulate gratitude supporting thoughts. Then substitute the gratitude supporting thoughts for non-grateful thoughts, and finally translate the inner feelings in outward action. Shelton believed that developing a healthy moral life involves, firstly, a self-awareness that one is moral. Secondly, developing gratitude. Thirdly, self-examination of one's day. And lastly, encouraging one's self to increase moral responsibility. All these ways place a high degree of initiative that the individual will have to take to develop the gratitude in oneself. Also, engaging in and keeping a daily moral inventory helps in developing the gratitude. Remembering one's acts of gratitude instills positive feelings that further motivate an individual to indulge in more subsequent acts of gratitude. This, therefore, starts a cycle of gratitude. The acts that have been built over a period of time also act as buffers in protecting an individual from negative emotions such as guilt, depression, and shame, etc. Making a personal commitment that one wants to invest psychic energy in developing a personal schema, outlook, or worldview of one's life as a gift, or one's very self as gifted, holds considerable sway from the standpoint of positive psychology. Indeed, numerous groups like Alcoholics Anonymous have absorbed this insight, wherein people get together and view themselves as a gift. Thus, setting aside time on daily basis to recall the moments of gratitude associated with even mundane or ordinary events, personal attributes one has, or valued people one encounters, has the potential to interweave and thread together a sustainable life theme of highly cherished personal meaning, just as it nourishes a fundamental life stance whose thrust is decidedly positive. Thus, This highly required virtue of gratitude needs to be inculcated in infants since their childhood. They should be taught the importance of being thankful and gratitude. This virtue develops over a period that requires constant motivation and an environment that is provided by the teachers and the parents. And always remember that this is a virtue which brings happiness, peace, and good life to ourselves. In the end, to summarize, gratitude has not only gained attention in the religious texts but has recently gained momentum within the realm of positive psychology. It is in fact treated as parent of all virtues and values. Gratitude is different from the feeling of indebtedness, which is an obligation of repayment. Gratitude can be seen as a motivator of behavior wherein people work towards enhancing and improving relationships with the benefactor. McCullough, Kilpatrick, Emmons, and Larson defined gratitude as moral effect as both the origins and consequences of gratitude are oriented towards the well being of another person. It is a pro-social behavior that has positive feelings both for the beneficiary and the benefactor. The variables that affect the intensity of gratitude are: number one, the degree of judged praiseworthiness; number two, the deviation of agent's action from role based expectations; and the desirability of the event. Appraisal components of gratitude as a motivationally relevant outcome, that is, motivationally congruent or desirable for the person and credited to the efforts of another. Dispositional gratitude has four elements: gratitude intensity, gratitude frequency, gratitude span, and gratitude density. Thus, a person who is high on gratitude will experience greater gratitude and also more often. Functions of gratitude as given by McCullough and colleagues are: seeing gratitude as a moral barometer, as a moral motive, and as a moral reinforcer. Gratitude has been shown to facilitate multiple benefits such as psychological and emotional well being, happiness, pride and hope, experiences of meaningful and productive life, subjective well being, relational support, and pro social behavior. Some scales have been developed to measure gratitude, such as GRAT, GQ6, the multidimensional prayer inventory, and the appreciation scale. Gratitude may be expressed differently in different cultural contexts. However, it is universally expressed and appreciated. Due to its recently gained attention, gratitude research is continuously building to add to the body of knowledge. As gratitude is considered having state-like properties, it is easily cultivated amongst individuals through simple and easy interventions. People who are high on gratitude have been found to have different characteristics than people who are low on gratitude. Through various researches, linkages of gratitude leading to happiness have been found. So remember, learn to have gratitude and be thankful if you want to lead towards the happiness.
The word gratitude is derived from the Latin word gratia, which means grace, gratefulness, and graciousness. It's a concept that is close to kindness. Robert Emmons, a leader in the field of gratitude research, defines gratitude as the feeling that occurs when a person attributes a benefit received by him to another. Gratitude is different from a feeling of indebtedness, which is an obligation of repayment. Gratitude can be seen as a motivator of behavior wherein people work towards enhancing and improving relationships with the benefactor. Now, let's look at the variables that affect the intensity of gratitude. They are A. The degree of judged praiseworthiness, B. The deviation of the agent's action from the role based expectations, and C. The desirability of the event. Also, Smith identified the appraisal components of gratitude as A. A motivational relevant outcome, that is, B. Motivationally congruent or desirable for the person, and C. Credited to the efforts of another. It is obvious to be grateful in pleasant circumstances, but do we also feel grateful in situations that are not so welcome? For example, in situations of trauma, natural disasters, death of a loved one, etc. We should be grateful in all circumstances. In such circumstances, an individual would be able to express gratitude only if these circumstances are perceived as opportunities for growth and enhancement. Contrast effect plays an important role here. For example, appreciating spring after winters, a feast after a fast, such events instill feelings of gratitude. Reminding oneself of things for which to be grateful was rated to be the most helpful coping behavior. Ingratitude is an absence of expressing gratitude. It is expressed when one doesn't appreciate other person's gratitude. It was noted that narcissistic people are incapable of experiencing and expressing sincere gratitude. This is the case as the expression of gratitude in a way shows the dependence of one over the other, which is not appreciable by the self sufficiency schema of the narcissists. Also, due to their feelings of superiority, they are unable to express gratitude towards other people. Now, let's take a look at the various functions that gratitude offers. As a moral barometer, wherein gratitude signals a change in one's social relationships for both the people and instills both these people with positive feelings. Second, as a moral motive. Due to this act of kindness, the beneficiary is also reminded of other acts of gratitude that may have happened in the past and may take a chance to reciprocate these benefactors for their kindness. Third, as a moral reinforcer, wherein the beneficiary is instilled with an obligation to continue the tradition of helping others and thus reciprocates grateful acts to other people, which starts a chain of positive acts towards mankind. There are various benefits of expressing gratitude. Gratitude allows an individual to appreciate everyday mundane activities. It has great impacts on an individual's psychological and emotional well being as it provides continuous intrinsic rewards. Gratitude has been linked with positive states such as happiness, pride, and hope, and experiences of extreme happiness, and experiences of a meaningful and productive life. Gratitude also promotes academic gains via achievement motivation. Feelings of gratitude are associated with less frequent negative emotions and more frequently positive emotions such as feeling energized, alert, and enthusiasm. Gratitude, like other emotions, broadens and builds. It appears to broaden people's modes of thinking as they creatively consider a wide array of actions that might benefit others. This positive emotion also builds psychological and social resources. Gratitude also builds people's skill for loving and showing appreciation. Now, we move on to know how to go about measuring gratitude. There are various measures. The Gratitude Questionnaire, also called as GQ6, is a trait self report measures of individual differences in gratitude. It is a 6-item questionnaire wherein the responses are tapped on a 7-point Likert scale. High scorers on the scale report feelings of more thankfulness and gratefulness. The Appreciation Scale measures 8 different aspects of gratitude: appreciation of people, possessions, the present moment, rituals, feelings of awe, social comparisons, existential concerns, and behaviors which express gratitude. The Gratitude, Resentment, and Appreciation Test, also known as GRAT, is another trait self report measure of gratitude that assesses gratitude towards other people, gratitude towards the world in general, and a lack of resentment for what you do not have. People across cultures and nations express and reciprocate gratitude in different ways. It can range from the very classic and legendary thank you to a non-verbal expression such as a smile. For example, in northern India where Hindi is prevalent, Abhar Vyakt is a conventional term to express thanks. In Chinese, the expression Ganan Dai Day that means bearing a debt of gratitude for one's kindness. In France, being polite is of utmost importance. So as to say thank you very much in French, the phrase merci beaucoup is used. Also, in a recent study on cross cultural comparisons of gratitude expressions in Persian, Chinese, and American English, found that although thanking is regarded as the most favorite strategy amongst all the three groups, there are significant differences in the ways Persian and Chinese learners of English and also native speakers of English use the speech act of thanking. Emmons and McCullough have been pioneers researchers in the field of gratitude. In their classical study in establishing relationships with well being, they asked participants in the grateful condition to count their blessings by listing five things for which they were grateful. In another condition, called the Hassel's condition, participants were asked to list things that bother or annoy. In another condition, called the events condition, participants were asked to list events that had impacted them in some way in the past week. Through the study, it was found that the participants in the grateful condition reaped a number of great benefits, such as positive emotions, feeling more grateful, experiencing fewer negative emotions, greater psychological well being, fewer physical symptoms, improvement in health behaviors, better sleep, and a great sense of social connectedness. Let's now see how gratitude can be developed. Miller offers a four-step guide. 1. Identify non grateful thoughts. 2. Formulate gratitude supporting thoughts. 3. Substitute the gratitude supporting thoughts for non grateful thoughts. And 4. Translate the inner feelings into outward action. Shelton believed that developing a healthy moral life involves 1. A self awareness that one is moral, 2. Developing gratitude, 3. Self examination of one's day, and 4. Encouraging one's self to increase moral responsibility. All these ways place a high degree of initiative that the individual will have to take to develop. Also, engaging in and keeping a daily moral inventory also helps in developing gratitude. Now, following are a few ways that are easy and all of us can easily incorporate such small things in our daily life without much changes. For example, saying thank you is expressing one's happiness and appreciating other person's effort to make you feel happier is the easiest thing that we can do. We can also pay our gratitude to someone by just remembering them mentally. Writing gratitude acts of self and those that were extended to others also helps. It was found that those who kept gratitude journals on a weekly basis exercised more regularly, reported fewer physical symptoms, felt better about their lives as a whole, and were more optimistic about the upcoming week. Meditating works as a strong buffer that provides for a cushion for delaying the daily circumstances and provide immense hope for the future and thankfulness for the present situations. More grateful people tend to see their benefactors as more selfless and having exerted more effort to help, as well as placing higher value on the help they received. It was also found that gratitude positively related to social support, stress, and depression. The initial feelings of gratitude predicted greater feelings of social support and less stress and depression 3 months later. Feelings of gratitude are associated with increased feeling of closeness and a desire to build or strengthen relationships with the benefactor. Grateful people tend to be more spiritual than their lesser grateful counterparts. People who are more grateful also report being happier. Liu Bormisky and colleagues conducted a study in which they asked participants in the experimental condition to contemplate things for which they are grateful over the course of 6 weeks and then they reported their happiness levels. It was found that participants who completed the tasks only once a week showed increases in level of well being compared to the control group. But participants who completed the tasks 3 times a week showed no difference in happiness. A possible explanation for this could be that people who counted their blessings multiple times per week became bored with the intervention and thus it lost its ability to increase happiness. Let us now summarize what we have learned. 1. Gratitude has not only gained attention in the religious texts but has recently also gained momentum within the realm of positive psychology. 2. Gratitude is different from the feeling of indebtedness, which is an obligation of repayment. 3. Gratitude can be seen as a motivator of behavior wherein people work towards enhancing and improving relationships with the benefactor. 4. The variables that affect the intensity of gratitude are 1. The degree of judged praiseworthiness, 2. The deviation of the agent's action from role based expectations, and 3. The desirability of the event. 5. Appraisal components of gratitude are A. A motivational relevant outcome, that is B. Motivationally congruent or desirable for the person, and C. Credited to the efforts of another. 6. Functions of gratitude as given by McCullough and colleagues are seeing gratitude as a moral barometer, as a moral motive, and as a moral reinforcer. 7. Gratitude has also been shown to facilitate multiple benefits such as psychological and emotional well being, happiness, pride and hope, experiences of a meaningful and productive life, subjective well being, relational support, and pro social behavior. 8. Some scales have been developed to measure gratitude, such as GRAT, GQ6, the multidimensional prayer inventory, and the appreciation scale.